Welcome to a new day, another day to come talk to you about entertainment, especially here in Nigeria, and all that's happening with your favorite celebrities at the moment. How are we doing today? It's Tuesday's edition, and I hope you're choosing peace and happiness. As far as I'm concerned, every day is always a day to choose peace and happiness. So I hope that you have the luxury of choosing that as well today. All right, welcome once again. My name is Vera Philip, and I am your host for this afternoon on Entertainment Now. And today we're going to talk about a host of things that is happening in the entertainment space, because of course Monday gives us the opportunity to bring to you movie recommendations that you can see over the week. However, Tuesday comes packed with everything that happened over the weekend, everything that we needed to talk about that we didn't talk about on Monday that we must definitely get to talk about today, being Tuesday. So, good news in the house, good news in the house. One of our beautiful media personalities and actress is expecting her second child with her husband. Now we're talking about Stephanie Coker and husband Olumide Aderinokun. They're expecting their second child. They did this entire video where they did a gender review, and it's so amazing to actually watch. I feel like one of the things I enjoy about a marriage is the very fact that, you know, you have an entire human being that you're bringing to life. It's okay when you do it the second time, but the first time, you like, what's the thought process of the parents in question? Like, what are you thinking about? Oh, I'm going to bring an entire child, I'm going to be responsible for an entire child. Like, this is going to be my entire heart being in some other person, because whatever it is that happens to this child, you know, whether they are grown up or not, a piece of you would always be affected by it. In short, a whole piece of you would always be affected by it, you know. So using that as a description, like, what goes through your mind? Are you really excited? Are you happy to be bringing somebody that you have to be worrying about? You know, something my parents used to say while I was away for school is that every time that I'm away from them, your heart is always, they're always wearing their hearts on your sleeves. They're always worried. What's she doing? You know, is she in any trouble? Is she getting into any trouble and stuff like that? And you having to be a parent, especially a mom, it is very normal for you to have those feelings. Like, your heart is walking, your heart is somewhere else. It's entirely different space from where you are. So there's always that worry as a parent, and I'm always like, oh, am I really ready for this? So, you know, when I see people turn out married and want to have kids, I'm just so proud of them, because it takes a lot of courage to say, okay, I'm ready to bring an entire humanity to this world, to, you know, take responsibility for them. So yeah, this is Stephanie Coker and her husband on the way to having their second baby. And away from that, talking about another marriage, Okoye celebrates his wife Ifeoma, popularly called Ivy Zeni, on social media as she celebrates her 25th birthday. This girl is already a mother at 25. Hello, come on. You know, she's married and a mother. Okoye is 43 years old, got married to her a few years ago, and, you know, they have a baby together. I think 2 babies together, as a matter of fact, yeah. And, you know, she's just been kicking ever since then. And today, she's celebrating her 25th birthday. And the husband, the man, Okoye, has gone way and above and beyond to celebrate her birthday. He brought flowers for her at home, and she was just blushing and blushing. And I'm like, oh my goodness, love is sweet too. Okay, so yeah, here's a video of Okoye bringing flowers to her, and she's just smiling and being happy. But then, I know I'm a girl, but, you know, there's just this, what do flowers do for girls? Like, why do we love flowers so much? Is there a reason we love flowers? Like, a very valid question. Why do we love flowers? What is behind flowers? You know, but it makes a woman smile. So yeah, I think we should just keep enjoying flowers and bringing flowers to our significant other. And we also have Peter, of course, Paul Okoye's brother, Peter and Lola Okoye rather, Peter and his wife, celebrating Cameron, their son, who turns 17 today. Cameron is that boy that we have seen, you know, he plays football, and he is a member of an international club. And seeing him turn 17, we're like, woo, Cameron, you grew up under us. Like, we saw you when you were a few years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, we saw you. How did you just get to 17 now? But we are celebrating Cameron as well with their parents as he turned 17 today. Such a fine boy. Come on, our footballer in the making. Okay, so yes, away from that, to this sad story. Omale has been a point of concern for fans. I would like to say myself included because I'm a huge fan of Omale. But Omale, has gone through a series of mental breakdown that we have always been concerned of. While a lot of people feed on his mental breakdown because it gives him the ability to give us really great depressing songs, but very lively songs, others are very much concerned, which is humanly part of what we are supposed to do as humans, to be concerned about our fellow human beings, being concerned about his mental state. As much as maybe he writes very good songs when he's having a mental breakdown, it is not a good place to be in. It feeds the fans, but it doesn't feed him. It probably gives him money, but money without a great mental state is like equal to death, and we're not wishing that on Omale. And then he makes this post on social media and asks God that, what, I am losing my mind again and I need your help. And then he says he goes the F word to his manager, the F word to fans, the F word to social media, the F word to everything. And I just want to believe that this might probably just be social media stunt, as much as it's not leaning towards that direction. But Omale is one person that we have seen his growth process. I remember one time, a fan had told him that, oh, Hope he's not in a bad place any longer, and he said, yeah, that he's not. He's actually really fine now. And we've seen him, and we're always happy when it comes out of that state. However, falling back into that place, he needs all the help possible. And I know that he's here using the F word on everyone that cares about him, his managers and all of that. But when you get close to people like this, you understand that some days they are not themselves and you need to be there for them. I mean, one of the job of a manager is to be there for their artists, for their arts, whether they are in their right frame of minds or not, because I mean, you are responsible for making them okay, good enough to make you money. So yeah, I feel with Omale, we really need to put him in a lot of prayers, and we really do hope that he's okay and that he has loved ones around him that could help him get out of this hard time that he could be feeling or facing at the moment. Our prayers are definitely with Omale. We're hoping to have an album before the end of the year from Omale, but from the look of things, we don't know whether we should tell him to go and consider his mental health first before releasing album, or maybe we should just ask him to release album and then he can go and take care of his mental health. But let's be humane. Let's just say, Omale, go take care of yourself. Go, put your mental state back in order. And if there's any album, because he did promise us an album. Yeah, he did promise us an album. If there's any album that you want to release for us, please release it when you are okay, when you are stable. Yes, we would definitely enjoy it regardless. I think that Omale will always give us a hit, whether he's stable or not. But we want him stable. Yeah, we really do want him stable, because we just don't care about his craft alone. We care about who he is and what he represents. All right, let's get to the international scene. Diddy's sentencing is going to be happening on the 3rd of October 2025, and yeah, he has been he has been in detention since then, since July, when his court case had ended. However, a lot of people have been writing character statements to the judge ahead of Diddy's sentencing, and one of those people happens to be Young Miami. Young Miami had penned down a character statement to the judge, and according to her, she's penning it down from the perspective of having known Diddy for 4 years now. She and Diddy, according to her, were in a relationship, were dating, a public relationship, for 3 years out of those 4 years. So yeah, she mentioned this, and also mentioned that Diddy is actually a good person. She gave credit to Diddy with having helped shape her on both a professional and personal level, ultimately inspiring her to find balance between chasing her dreams and being present for her family. She also did mention that Diddy took her to her very first Met Gala, which is what is on your screen right now, emphasizing the evening as particularly impactful for her because of what it represented. So this definitely made her happy, and she wrote this character statement to the judge. His mother, Janice Combs, also pleaded for leniency. She cited her deteriorating health after 2 brain surgeries, and she's currently undergoing struggles with diabetes. So she expressed her wish to see her son home with her family as well. Another person who has sent in a letter is former Bad Boy artist Carl Thomas, who also wrote in support, recalling that Diddy's mentorship and private acts of kindness had made him, had formed him into the person that he is. He also urged the court to consider the broader impact of his life beyond current charges. Now, As I earlier mentioned, July, Diddy was found to not guilty on a lot of things, racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking charges. He was, however, convinced on two prostitution-related counts, as previously reported. So now, Diddy's legal team has argued that a sentence of 14 months at most is what is appropriate for Diddy. Like 14 months, that is the highest should be given to him, you know, in terms of sentencing. Now, his legal team as well have also pushed for a near immediate release ahead of his sentencing. So his lawyers asked for the rapper's near immediate release from prison ahead of his sentencing in 3rd of September. They argued that since Combs was acquitted of the most serious charges that were leveled against him, one of them being sex trafficking, his case warrants a lighter sentence than the probation department's recommendation of a maximum of more than 7 years. So we had the probation department recommend more than 7 years for Sean Diddy. However, his legal team are saying that he was acquitted of the most serious charges. So why should he, you know, be why should he be asked to serve for more than 7 years? I think the charges that he was found guilty of, one of them was being guilty for transport to prostitution, and these are charges that they say his legal team are arguing that he's supposed to get at most 14 years for. Anyways, we'll see what happens October 3rd. The judge has, however, denied Sean Diddy he has denied Sean Diddy bail and says he should remain in custody until the 3rd of October. So 3rd of October we'll understand or we'll realize what Sean Diddy's faith is at that point. All right, so moving on, Cardi B on the other hand has opened up on, you know, she getting pregnant for Stephen Diggs when she's still legally married to Offset. Ever since, Cardi B has been on the frontline pages, you know, she has been a topic of conversation, and most importantly, she also released an album called Am I the Drama, where she reiterated about, you know, some of the things that happened in her marriage. She was very specific about most of the things that happened in her marriage in that particular album. When I listened to it, it was just so touching because I feel like this was Cardi B telling her own side of the story of what happened in her marriage with Offset. However, she's been dragged on social media for having to be pregnant for Stephen Diggs despite being legally married to Offset. Now, Cardi B has opened up about the reason she has done that, and yeah, this is what she has to say. Let's just take a listen to what Cardi B has to say.
Somebody else. So what? That happens. It's life. Let me tell you something. I did things the correct way the first time. I fell in love. I got 2 rings in my finger. I lasted 7 years. 7 years that I didn't have to last with somebody with. I lasted 7 years in a marriage. Stop saying, oh, but you're still married. No, I'm legally separated. The only reason why I'm still married is because somebody wants me to pay for their taxes. Y'all want to know the tea? The only way I could get out of my marriage if I pay for somebody else's taxes, even though I pay for my own, and give them one of my properties. I'm fighting for that. I'm going to fight for that. This is not no love And like I said, I'm not going to stop living my life because on a contract, I'm practically still married because somebody want to hold me hostage if I don't give them millions of dollars to.
I feel like Cardi B has gone through her own phase. Like, she's been in the news for the good things, been in the news for the bad things in the recent few months. One of them being her court case that she won, and also having interviews where she was having to promote her music, Am I the Drama, or album Am I the Drama, and also having to deal with her marriage challenges alongside being, you know, pregnant for Stephen Diggs. And she's human at the end of the day. And ultimately, I think that what I like about her is her drive regardless. Yes, this has happened to me, but I'm not going to slow down. It's not going to, you know, affect me. But then in this particular audio clip in where she was on a space, she did talk about, explain that the reason she's still legally married is because as much as she has filed for divorce, her ex-husband, you know, separated husband Offset, wants to get money for taxes from her, you know, and also wants one of her mansions, and she doesn't want to do that. She can't be working for somebody else to come and eat because she wants the divorce. So instead of having to feed him through the divorce, she's deciding that, you know what, let's delay it, let's stay here, let's do so she has to go ahead to live her life regardless. And this is one thing we should also put into consideration. If you were Cardi B and somebody, you know, they were filing for divorce, and then the one of the criteria for living is that you have to let go some of your properties or let go some of your money for this other person or for the other person, especially in cases where you really don't like the person any longer. Would you do it? Would you do it? And then you have another option of, you know what, since you guys are legally separated, just stay where you are, be married, but do your thing. And would you not do it? She also mentioned that she tried to do things the right way before, got into a relationship, got an engagement, got married, been there for 7 years when she didn't have to be there for 7 years. And now people still expect her to keep doing the right thing. And I understand how that kind of feel. Okay. Anyways, we wish her all the best. And we do hope that, Stefan Diggs treats her better than Offset did. And that she's genuinely happy where she is. That's all we can bring to you this afternoon on Entertainment Now. Thank you so much for being a part. Of course, we will be back tomorrow for another beautiful edition. But until then, I would like you to have an amazing rest of your day. My name is Vera Philip. You can follow me on social media. Facebook is Vera Philip. On Instagram, Vera Philip _MGC. Enjoy the rest of your day once again. And of course, bye for now.